Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Maaf, ada gangguan sedikit. Saya harap semua boleh dengar ya. Saya Razli bin Cik Razak daripada Center for Postgraduate Studies UMK. Alhamdulillah pada petang ini walaupun agak kesibukan. Is it clear? Gambar ni print on camera wave. Okay, is it clear? Okay, terima Asyabah. Okay, Suki boleh nampak Suki? Okay, thank you very much. Sebab hari ni agak kesibukan sikit. Saya ada Viva pagi tadi, jadi promosi kepada Viva PhD di Pusat Pengajian Siswazah UMK pada hari pagi tadi. Dan gambar tak apa betul ke gambar? Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Gambar tak betul Okay, jadi pagi tadi ada Viva di New Sea Malaysia, Kelantan. Jadi saya nak share sedikit lah tentang Viva yang saya promosikan pagi tadi, dan juga Viva yang saya hadir pada hari Isnin lepas di New Sea Science Malaysia. Jadi walaupun Viva tersebut berjalan dengan lancar, tapi saya nak share pada pagi ini ialah tentang, pada tengah hari ini, selalunya pagi ialah tentang apa yang ingin kita lihat dalam Viva tersebut yang ada kaitan dengan yang kita bincangkan pada minggu lepas, iaitu research gap dan research objektif dan juga research question. Jadi saya dapati calon pertama selalu kesukaran timbul pada research gaps, di mana calon tidak dapat mencari research gap yang baik. Ya, Ibrahim, thank you for watching. Research gap yang baik, di mana yang berlaku research gap. Jadi dalam kuliah yang lepas saya membincangkan research gap ni ada potensi dia 7 atau 8 di mana boleh berlakunya research gap. Apa yang saya boleh share pada Viva yang lepas ialah calon tak dapat cari dia research gap. Kenapa pentingnya research gap? Sebab dia nak dibawa kepada tajuk yang kita akan bincangkan lepas ni ialah problem statement, penyataan masalah. Jadi research gap ini yang selalunya dalam kuliah yang lepas ada bicarakan tentang research gap berlaku pada dependent variables. Jadi pada dependent variables itu maknanya anda mengatakan ini satu elemen baru. Let's say, as I mentioned to last lecture, it's about for example, it's about green entrepreneurship intention. So it's new, tetapi persoalan yang timbul adalah adakah dia betul-betul research gap? Sebab apabila you menyebut sebagai research gap, it means that nobody has studied about green entrepreneurship intention. But when we read the thesis, there is such study before. Ini yang masalahnya. When we read the previous thesis, we notice that somebody has studied the GI. So what's new in your GEI, for example? And then people start arguing that which one is much better? Either entrepreneur intention or green entrepreneur intention. So, and then you test for the MBA student, let's say. And people start thinking that if MBA student, they have the stability in their careers. So why we need to find the GI? Because they are stable, they are CEO, they are executive, so they don't want to be the entrepreneur. So your measurement of entrepreneurship intention, if we further study, we notice with the low GI, and possibility is very difficult. When you start analysis, you cannot get a good relationship there. There is possibility there. So even though it's a gap, you have to think that, is it suitable for our context of study, for example, like MBA. So this is such issue whereby that you have to understand really the research gap. This morning also the notice from the external examiner that the gap is not the gaps are not as conclusive. It means that the gap can be coming from your literature, and then your literature says some study mentioned there is a positive relationship, and then some studies say there is a negative relationship. So there is possibility for you to study because there is a gap between these two. Further study should be done because of some say very positive, many very positive significant, and some studies say negative significant. So we start to notice that, there is something new that I could study it. So there is possibility that there is a research gap. And then most of the thesis I noticed that when we attended the Viva also, because of the research gap, a student cannot grasp the idea of the research gap. Sometimes you think there is a gap, but actually when you read some more, there is no much gap. So what happened, I would suggest for you to read the current thesis and the current journal, because this is the current one. Whereby that people knows already that this has been not studied before. Sometimes students taking the old journals. The old journal, for example, like, okay, I would say that one of my students want to study about the logistic quality services. So when you read the article of 2006, that is old already. Now it's 2018. So you have to study, you have to read the development of it, and you have to find the new article, the current article, whereby if you pick up the article of 2006, people say that this is old already, and you say there is a gap. But actually the 2018 article, there is a lot of study regarding that gap. So beware about it. You have to read the current article. Okay, in the Viva also, most of the Viva, the Arsenal, we ask you, okay, at least most of your article is only 5 years old. For example, like your thesis 2018, even though you start your PhD 2011, you have to get the recent article at least 5 years, start from 2013, 2018. So these you have to understand about it. Okay, the gaps. And this morning also, the examiner asking about problem statement is unclear. Okay, so how to get a very good problem statement? As I mentioned to you, if you know the gap, that is much easier. First, in your problem statement, you have to start with the current issues. Okay, you have to understand your DV, what you want to study, and then what are the current issues regarding that DV? For example, like one of my students study about the competitive advantage of the logistics company. Okay, the current issue is that since the development of the economics that the government allow the foreign company to set up the logistics company in Malaysia, so they are much more better because they have the resource capability is much higher compared with the local company. So what happened that the local company cannot survive, cannot sustain in the market because of they cannot compete with the foreign foreign player in logistic company. So there is the issues there. So the issues are that the local company cannot survive, cannot compete with the foreign company because we are not competitive enough. So the issue is that if we want to maintain, the local company want to maintain in the logistic industry, so they should have the competitive advantage. Okay, so the issue is that because of we are not good enough, we are not competitive enough, we cannot compete, and local company cannot compete with the foreign company, so the foreign company can be sustained, and then the declining numbers of sustainability of the local company. So there is the issue there. So we want to study that why the local company cannot compete with the foreign company because they are not competitive enough, they cannot sustain. So there is the current issue, and then in the same time that how to remain competitive. So we want to study what is the factors relate with the competitive advantage, and we strongly believe that based on our literature, it mentioned that we should have the resources, we should have capability, the company should have innovation, and then after that, before competitive advantage, the company should have the good logistic performance. So this is how we come up with the problem statement. First, the issues, current issues regarding your dependent variables. Okay, so you foresee there is the issues there, and you foresee that with the current issue, you foresee that this is you should study for your DV. Jadi dalam bahasa Melayunya, problem statement mesti bermula, ya, terima kasih Fuad. Problem statement mesti bermula daripada current issues, the issues yang berkenaan dengan yang you nak kaji pada dependent variables. Kemudian you turunkan lagi kepada